Hey, thanks so much for drawing with me today. This is the Drawing for Kids class from the Ann Arbor District Library and the Ann Arbor Art Center. Today we are going to be practicing some colorful shading skills by drawing these 3D looking rainbow lollipops. So grab a pencil and a sheet of paper and let's get started. The first thing we're going to be doing is drawing a circle as our base, and that is going to be the round shape of the lollipop, and then we're going to be drawing in a spiral shape that goes around a little bit outside. You can see how I did that, and then of course spiraling inside. You also want to make sure that the spiral is evenly spaced in between so that each little section is about the same size. Then we're going to draw these curved stripes that are these little ribbons of white in between each little section here. So you can see here what that might look like if you had an actual lollipop. So here's an example of what that photo would look like. And so you can see those little ribbons of white there and the colors in between, okay? Now notice how those colors down there on the bottom edge are a little bit darker than the colors from right above. And then as it goes in closer to that next line, it gets darker once again. So you can see the way that I'm shading that now. So I'm putting a little bit darker on that section. Notice I'm just leaving that white space in between, so I'm not worried right now about those little ribbons of white in between each color. And I'm just going kind of piece by piece, okay? I recommend looking up a photo of a rainbow lollipop or pressing pause on the video so you can get a better look at the example. I continued throughout this drawing to glance back at it, and it was really helpful. So when you're using your colored pencils, take a look at your colored pencils to see if you have a darker green in addition to that lighter green. And that darker green color will be really helpful to add on the top and the bottom edges there, as you can see me doing. But you can also just use even black, for example, or dark brown, or another dark color such as dark blue or dark purple. So depending on what colors you have available, you might want to, you have to use what you have, right? So consider your resources. When you're using red, for example, dark purple can be a great color to use for that shadow. If it stands out too much and you're seeing too much purple, then color on top of that again with our red. So being able to kind of layer with colored pencils is really important. And then of course, as you're shading that, make sure that you do leave that middle section to be pretty white. You can see on mine, the places where I left it to be really, really white, it just looks like it's really shiny and glossy and just ready to be eaten, basically. And so the ones that I didn't really leave as many white spots accidentally, it's just not quite as shiny looking. So it's really up to you of how you want to, if you want to make it look more glossy or if you want it to look more matte, that is your choice. So now that I have the colors pretty much filled in here, now I can go back into those little white ribbons. So I've erased my pencil lines so that I don't have those anymore, and then I can do the shading. You don't have to erase those pencil lines, and actually I did not, now that I'm looking at that again, I didn't actually erase those at this point, my bad. So I'm leaving the pencil lines for now, though you can go back in later, which is what I'll do, is I'll go back in with an eraser and kind of get that little space there in between. But just like I did with the colors, I'm adding in a little bit of light gray or really lightly pressing down with some black just to get those edges, just as I did with my colors. Okay, so there you can kind of see me switching back and forth between keeping those pencil lines and erasing them. And then of course doing some shading on the lollipop stick will also be good. It's a cylinder, so you can see the way that I've shaded that with a little bit of shading on the edges and also a little bit in the center. Then you can decide to do whatever you want in the background. You could make it look like a face is behind there about to lick the lollipop, or you could do just some kind of colorful. I kind of did mine inspired by cotton candy to go with our candy theme here, but whatever you want to do in the background will be fantastic. So hope you enjoyed today's class, and I hope that you create a delicious looking drawing.